How are you guys tonight? Oh my gosh, we are back. We are back after a break. Stop. You have a weird look on your face. Oh, yes. That's just your face.
Whatever. Like Instagram, the screen went dark. That's what threw me off. I'm like, okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay. It's yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll see. Instagram. If you guys can't see us, let me know. So my name is Brandy. I am the owner and artist behind Brushed by Brandy, and I'm back live tonight. I took a little break. We went on vacation, you guys, and I don't know, I thought I would go live while we were on vacation, and then I found myself in like a weird place every Thursday where I was like, I can't go live from like this random parking lot in my car. So, and then we were flying the next one, so it just didn't work out. But I'm back, and thank you guys for the break. It was good. Tonight we're going to be back doing some painting. You guys, my husband Sean is behind the camera to help answer any questions you guys have along the way. So shoot those out, but we're going to be working on some cool stuff tonight. So this project behind me is what I'm working on, and this is kind of a fun one because it's actually a dupe of a piece that I've done before. So I'm copying my own work, which is kind of weird.
Is that plagiarism?
Yeah, it is. Definitely a copyright claim there. I'll be consulting an attorney. No, this is, I did a piece before and it looked like this, and a customer contacted me and said, you know what, it was the one that got away. I should have purchased it and I didn't. Could we try to do it again? And so I found this piece, which I don't know if I could have found a better match. It's going to work out perfect for this finish. And so I'm duplicating the finish that I did. So tonight we're going to be putting, this is the paper that's going to go on the front of the piece, and we're going to be putting some of the paper on. We're going to be putting some gold leaf on this drawer here. But let's start, I'm going to work on the inside first, and I want to do the inside first because I don't want to try to come back later after I've got all this done and be working on this inside. What I am doing on the inside is I'm using...
Uh-oh, sorry to interrupt you. Barbara says help.
Uh-oh.
That's 911.
Someone help Barbara. Yeah. I hope, unless it's a painting emergency, and then that's what we're here for. Okay, so can you guys see this? Isn't that a fun surprise inside? So the piece that I originally did was a bar, and it all opened up, and I had done the inside in this color. So I'm doing the same thing on this one. I'm going to do the inside also in this really pretty teal color. Only I'm using, this is 1 hour enamel from Wise Owl, and I feel kind of behind the bus on this one. Like, I didn't know how really awesome 1 hour enamel is, you guys. I really had never used it before. It is a gorgeous all-in-one paint, and I feel like it's so different because it's truly an all-in-one paint. I will not need to seal this. Once I'm done giving it the coats that I'm going to put on it, it has the most beautiful sheen to it. It actually dries with a sheen, and it's probably like a satin sheen.
Never gets old.
What?
Is it like a Charlie?
Oh, more like a Martin.
Okay.
That's Sean's classic sheen joke. I am going to give this a really light sanding. I'm just going over it with a sanding sponge, and that's just because I can feel like little particles of dust and stuff had settled in it. So I'm just going to lightly sand this really quick. I'm just going to go inside this cabinet here really quick. Don't mind me.
Can you go in further?
I probably could fit in there.
Just a little.
Is this the challenge?
Just a little further.
Like
just
that. Like that.
Little.
What's that episode of Friends where he goes inside the TV cabinet and then the guy robs him? Wait a minute.
You can fit someone in there. No way.
All right, and then I'm going to tack the dust off of this. So right now this has one coat on it, and it got really good one coat coverage, but I'm going to put a second coat on here, and this will completely finish the inside of this. I did not prime this. This was raw wood, and it's vintage wood too. I didn't prime it, and I'm not going to seal it. And it's super smooth. It's got a nice sheen on it. It's totally wipeable. Some all-in-one paints that I've used before kind of dry with a matte finish. They can still need primer.
Lori said she had a hard time blending with it, and
it's not made for blending. This would not be your blending paint. This would be your all-in-one paint. Those are totally different animals. You want to be really careful when you're blending. The chalky style paints work better. Now, why do they work better? Because they're friendly to water. So you use water usually when you're blending. You want to keep moving the paint when you're blending. And all-in-one paints are the exact opposite. They're usually not as friendly to water because they have higher resin content. And you don't want to keep moving the paint because they start to set up faster. You'll end up with brush strokes. It starts getting sticky. So all-in-one paints are not your blending paints. Go for your chalky style paints if you want to blend. All right, color. So Wysall has a whole bunch of colors that would have worked for the inside of this, but I had none of them. So I mixed my own color. So this is a mix of 1 Hour Enamel in Refurbished Gentleman. Let me open this. Shout out to Mark. This is his color, Refurbished Gentleman.
FBJ loves the curl in your hair.
Oh, thanks. I did my hair tonight. I did it yesterday and I was like, you know what? This is surprisingly easy. I don't know why I don't do this more often.
I'd do mine too if I had it.
Do you guys remember like a couple years ago when they had I had a stir stick out.
Really?
Oh, of all things.
Of all things.
A stir stick? Oh, here, I'll use it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is Refurbished Gentleman. It's a blue. Really pretty blue. But I wanted a little bit more green in mine. And so what did I do? I mixed it with a little bit of green. And the green that I used is called Botanical.
Oh, Heather says hi.
Hey, Heather. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
She doesn't do too well in a spelling bee. She's got a lot of Y's in that. It's hey with like 5 Y's.
Hey. That means you have to say it like that. If it has a lot of Y's, it's say hey.
I'll pass.
Yeah. So Sean read it wrong.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, read it like that. Okay, so let me clean off this stir stick. Let me show you guys how I mix up these very precise colors that I like to mix, okay?
Let's
this
get the lab going.
Very precise measurement that I'm going to use here. I'm going to dump roughly this much of my Refurbished Gentleman in here.
This kind of engineering will get us to the moon.
I'm going to dump roughly this much Botanical. So it's not a precise measurement, you guys.
Sherry says I need to read it like the Fonz.
Hey!
Thumbs up.
Yeah, you can't see that from behind the camera, but Sean's doing the thumbs up.
Who's the camera guy? This guy.
Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of my Botanical. I want a little more green. That's how I mix colors, you guys. I very rarely measure anything. Same way I like to cook.
What?
Which means
I
don't like to cook. Until I get it about right, and then I'm going to make sure that I over mix it so I have more than enough. If it's slightly different than the shade underneath, it doesn't really matter because that's going to end up being my undercoat. And I really like this color. So I would say, if I'm using my best guesstimating powers, that is roughly 3 parts Refurbished Gentleman to 1 part Botanical. It's heavier on the...
You making fat jokes about the paint?
Heavier on the RG. Sorry, yes. I was like, what do you mean fat jokes? Okay, I'm going to apply this with a roller. And the rollers that I like to use, do you want to grab that package of rollers that's over there? Since you're not doing anything. I know.
Emily said she was dying with its resin.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. Like, what? Well, here's the deal, Emily. I also forgot to paint the back side of the first one he picks up. He flips it over, and I was like, oh, I forgot the back of that one. Yes, thank you. What Emily's talking about is I made coins, gold coins out of resin for my kids for St. Patrick's Day, and I put them out on the front porch. So it looked like the leprechaun had come, and I spray painted them gold.
Heather loves that you got called out on it.
Yeah. My son, I said, what are they? He picks it up and says, resin. Come on. Play along. Do you know how long this took me? But then he did go actually look for the leprechaun.
Yeah, he was gone for a while.
So he thinks that the leprechaun isn't leaving gold coins around, but is doing resin pours somewhere.
The leprechaun is really cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, resin's probably more expensive than the gold coin.
Because if you drove here, it was a lot in gas.
Yeah,
You probably blew it in gas.
That's true. Okay, so these are the rollers I like to use. These are Whiz Flock. I said flock.
Flock you.
These are Whiz Flock rollers, and I get them from Lowe's. And let me show you guys what they are. They're flocked. You're flocked.
Oh, you're flocked.
The flocking is like little hairs. Little hairs. Do you want one? No? Okay. All right. So I like these.
It almost looks like the little Play-Doh guys.
I like these actually better than high density foam. I like the little hairs on them. So I'm going to start at the back of my cabinet, and I'm going to apply this with a roller. Now, why I was so over the moon about this paint, sorry, I'm going to be facing away from the camera for a few minutes.
No, we prefer it. Go ahead.
This is my good side, trust me.
It's okay.
All right, when I did my first coat, I cut in all the corners first, and I did that. I used actually the new Pointy Sisters brush from Wiesel, which is a pointed tip brush. Can you hear me if I talk in here? Is it like a speaker because it echoes?
Yes.
That's what I think.
Can you just stop talking? But it's okay, I promise. That's just me being a jerk.
This is what I like about this, because normally you'd look at like cubbies and inside cabinets or like inside of a bookshelf as being like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do that. And this was remarkably simple.
I don't even know why I'm trying to catch that on video.
Well,
it looks the same. It's dark in there.
When I get to the front, you guys will be able to see better. So hang on, let me get there. I'm 2 sides down. Just want to make sure it looks kind of like I knew what I was doing. So I got the top. Let me get this side. Okay, but if you were doing, say that, you know, the inside of a bookshelf or something, those are areas that are normally like a complete pain to paint. Nobody wants to do them. And you can see, rolling on 2 coats like this, it's super easy. And I didn't have to prime this. I'm not going to top coat it because it has a beautiful sheen on it already. Let me get right up to that edge. Okay, a couple things when I'm rolling this is it is a little bit of a thinner formula, so you just want to make sure that you roll it on in thin, even coats, not too thick. It will have a tendency to drip if you get it too thick in any areas. So just thin, even coats.
Do they leave a smooth finish?
Oh, this finish is, I know you guys can't.
Well, let's start with the rollers. And then
the roller. Okay, that's the reason I was super impressed by this paint. It's self-leveled, you guys, to where this is only 1 coat, so I can see some spots of my wood through it, but it leveled amazingly well. Now, with a roller, is it ever going to be as smooth as it would be if I was spraying this? No. But it did not dry with like an orange peel texture like you might expect from a roller. It 90% self-leveled out. And it,
of course, Teresa. Let's make that happen.
Oh, my whiz block?
Yes, ma'am. It's go time.
Got a piece of tape in my way. Those rollers are awesome, you guys. They come in packs like that. So it normally has the handle in there too, but I'm using the handle.
Free handle.
Yeah, not quite free, but close. Not quite free,
right,
but inexpensive.
Hopefully that helped you.
I'm gonna just pull this tape. I taped off the line so that I would have I have a little bit of my body color on the inside here. I'm just going to clean up this line a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to do the bottom. I'll come out and you guys will be able to see better once I come out to do the doors. Okay, hands down, this would be a beautiful kitchen cabinet paint. Because it's got that little bit of sheen on it. It's not a super like high gloss sheen because nobody really wants high gloss anyways. But it dries with a beautiful, nice, satiny sheen on it.
Careful.
Oh, because my door's not screwed in all the way.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That raises a good point. I'm not going to be able to take this off though. I'm going to have to do that other door.
What the heck?
I didn't think about that.
So, oh, look who finally chimed in there, Sheila.
Hey, welcome back. We missed you. Sheila, have you been on vacation too, Sheila? All right. So I'm going to go around the edges on this. Again, I'm keeping it nice and even and light. I don't want it thick. If I try to get it thick, I'm just going to get drips and runs. So around the outside, didn't take a whole lot of paint either. You know, my
that's a ton.
yeah, I'll use I'm about a third of the way through this, and like not even a quarter out of the green, and I'll do all of the inside of this whole cabinet. So then I'm just going to roll it out nice and smooth, roll out any lines that overlap, and to the touch, when this levels, it is, I don't know, it's just the most beautiful finish. I really don't need to top coat it at all. I say that because a lot of the all-in-one paints, I mean, just about every one that I've used says no need to top coat, and then you put it on and you really do need to top coat it. It still doesn't have any sheen. If you were using it in, say, a kitchen or something, you would want to have a little bit more wipeability.
What's the dry time there on that 1 hour enamel?
So it will dry in about 1 hour, cures in about 2 hours. So the full cure time on this, you guys, fully cured in about 2 hours. So that's the other thing, is if you're wanting to get back to using something, this is a getting back to using something. If you're tearing your kitchen apart and doing your cabinets, you don't want to leave it torn apart for 30 days while your paint cures. If you're sending a piece home with a customer and you don't feel comfortable sending it home without fully cured paint on it, this is a paint that has a fast cure time on it.
All right, let's help out Melinda. What are you using again?
I'm using 1 hour enamel from Wiesel. So this is their 1 hour enamel.
Trying to keep her from
this
jumping.
This one here that has paint all over the label. Let's try this guy. Also, paint all over the label. This is what the can looks like if you were to paint all over the label. All right, and I mix this color. This is a mixture of Refurbished Gentleman and Botanical. Roughly 3-to-1. Heavier on the Refurbished Gentleman. So, little tip here. I did fill my hardware holes before drilling any new holes.
It's so weird.
So that creates a problem that I can't open the cabinet now. Okay, so this is beautiful inside. It will be finished. I won't do anything else. I'm not kidding you guys. I cleaned it. It was raw wood. I did not I didn't prime it, and it's done. Now, where I had an existing finish on my cabinet, which was on the doors, this was all, let me show you inside here.
And as far as odor?
It does have a slight odor to it, more like what a latex paint would smell like. This is not a latex paint. I'm just comparing the odor to what a latex paint would smell like. It does have a light odor to it. So if you're sensitive to odors, just make sure you're working in an area that has ventilation in it. It's not offensive, but it does have more of an odor to it than like their chalk mineral paint does. Chalk synthesis paint. Okay, I'm going to shut this one. What these looked like before, this one's also painted, but what they looked like before is it just had a raw wood in it. Now on the doors where it had the existing finish in it, because it was coated in a clear coat on the doors that was not on the inside, I just made sure I scuff sanded first. Okay, so if you want to make sure that you have a good bond with the paint, make sure you give it a good scuff sanding. You can also use the Wiesel primer underneath if you've got a super high gloss finish or you're painting something like a laminate. You could use the primer underneath, but this paint, you're not going to experience bleed through with it, and genuinely, it has a nice satin sheen to it. It's one and done. Like, it's so easy.
Sheila wants to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I don't see him anywhere.
She said, you know where she's going with this. I got nothing. I don't.
Bring it, Sheila.
Yeah,
Bring
come on,
it.
Sheila.
Nothing's off limits here.
I know, I'm still here.
Sheila.
Yes, that's the elephant in the room.
Sheila, no moderator. Okay, so we're going to do a couple other things tonight. I do plan to also put my second coat on the sides here, so I'm going to set my paint aside that I mixed. And I'll come back and do that after I get off camera, and I'll be totally done with the inside of this. But what I want to do with you guys on camera is I want to go ahead and put the paper on this. Do you want to show them? Can you show them the top or the sides on this?
Or. Really?
While you do that, I'm going to take the rest of this door off. I'm going to remove this door from the frame because I'm going to work with the door off of the piece.
So the roller, is it a foam roller?
It is a flocked roller.
Bless you.
I did not say a bad word. I said flocked. This is that screwdriver that has like a little bend in it.
Really?
Yeah. I got the bendy screwdriver.
Oh my gosh.
I know, which means it doesn't sit in there.
Alright, we're going to take you guys out.
Flathead screws, guys. Flathead screws. I'll take it off this side. That works better. How about that, Brandy? All right, so I coated my body with a base of Wisal paint in, this is a mixture of black. I'm gonna pull this off the hinges. This is a mixture of black and a little bit of inkwell. And it just created this kind of soft black. And that's because it was the closest to the background color. So I basically mixed it to kind of match the background color of my paper. None of it's going to show. The paint's only going to show in small areas, like maybe this area right here. You know, I think right here it'll show. But if there's anywhere exposed under my paper, I just wanted to have that background so you don't see any of the raw wood. All right, my paper. This is a gift wrap. I ordered this from Society 6. Society and then the number 6. I need a little table.
Come on now.
I'm trying to help you out because otherwise I'm gonna lay it on. I'm gonna lay it on the ground, and then you're gonna really wind it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll put it up here. Does that work?
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the paper on this door. Now let's talk about a few things. So Society 6 gift wrap comes in sheets like this. It's not a continuous roll. I think these are 24 by 36 if I'm not mistaken, and it comes with 5 sheets.
I thought that too, Lori. Go ahead. Sorry.
In each order, it comes with 5 sheets. So I ordered 2 orders of this. So I have a total of 10 sheets to do this piece here. Each order, I want to say they're like $13, and they run coupon codes all the time. I'm not affiliated in any way with Society 6. What I did think was funny is one of my followers messaged, and she was like, I looked at Society 6 and some of the designs are really racy. And I'm like, yeah, they are, because anyone can literally submit any designs. So if you want to have, like, you know, flying toenails, you can.
Huh?
Yeah, and it really exists. Some of the designs are wacky. So you do have to, if you search wrapping paper on their website, I mean, thousands. It's a rabbit hole. Thousands of designs. So this paper, I want to run across the entire front, okay? I'm going to seam it everywhere it ends. So across this top drawer, I'm going to have 3 pieces. It's going to take me 3 pieces to seam this. I'm not going to start at the center on this one. And that's because I do not want to seam down the middle of that door. I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to use a whole separate piece for this door. I'm not going to seam it because it'll look worse. There is a break anyways right here where you won't notice that the pattern is not continuous. So I'm going to start on this door just like this. I'm going to run the edge of my paper. This is a nice flat door. Flat surfaces are ideal for decoupage. Going over curves is a lot harder. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, this is a thicker paper. So whenever I have a thicker paper, 2 things I like to do. Number 1, I like to use wallpaper paste. And 2, I like to back butter the paper. And that just means I'm going to put my adhesive on the back of my paper as well as on my surface.
So a couple of questions. Are you going to enter this piece into the furniture flip challenge?
No, this one is not my piece for that. That's actually the one that Sean's leaning on right now.
What? Call me out.
The one that Sean's laying on the top of right now. is the piece I'm doing.
Laying over the
That's
top
a texture challenge. And while I will argue that smooth is a texture, that one's going to be full of texture. All right, so.
And then Lois said she'd love to see you do something. Make a piece using everything you need from Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart.
I just did that last week. Well, except for my paint. The paint was not a Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart paint, but I did that last week. I was traveling. It's on my YouTube channel, just from last week. I was traveling and I didn't have any of my supplies, and so I just brought some paint that was in a powdered form that I could travel with. You just add water. It was milk paint. And I mixed it on site where I was staying, and then everything else was from the hardware store that I could source locally. Last week.
Oh,
just
Lindy. Is this the new house? No.
Oh, we did not just move last week. We went and stayed with a friend who bought a house out in Tennessee. They're moving, but the house is vacant right now. So she said, go, stay as long as you want, explore. So we went, we saw, we explored.
I don't want to say anything bad about her since she might be watching.
Yeah, if you see spring. All right, so I'm back buttering the paper. What this does is it's going to give me really good contact when I go to lay this paper down. It also softens the paper up. When you wet paper, it starts getting, it gives it some stretch, changes the shape of the paper. And so that's going to soften that paper. So when I lay it, it kind of stretches. And then as it dries, it will constrict back down. But I do that on thicker papers so that they're a little more pliable. I do not back butter if I'm using like a tissue paper or a thin paper. I do not back butter my papers.
I agree, Lindy. Wonderful friend.
She is. It was really, really nice. So I did a furniture piece for her while I was there. That was my way of saying thank you. And to do that, because I didn't have any supplies, we went to the hardware store. Where'd we go? Lowe's. We went to Lowe's. Okay, so I am using wallpaper paste. This is Roman 543. I also get this at Lowe's. Roman brand 543 wallpaper paste. I like wallpaper paste for thicker papers for a couple reasons. It has a longer dry time than using clear coat. Like I'm able to keep playing with this. It's got a good, quite a good play time in it. It stays wet for a while, so if I need to kind of adjust my paper, I can. It's nice and thick. It gets good contact. How do I know? Because I've also had to remove this. But this is the container. Roman brand 543. I have this in my Amazon shop, but on Amazon it only comes in gallons. But that's actually not a terrible thing because I do use quite a bit of it. All right. So then I'm going to take my paper. If you have two sets of hands, you guys ask for help with this.
Is this where you're asking me for help?
It will make your life a lot easier. Yeah, do you want to hold this?
Apparently I do.
Here, you turn this like this. I was going to turn the stool. Well, anyway, just this end actually.
That's it?
Yep.
Well then.
This really helps to just have someone, I don't want to just lay this paper up, and I'm going to turn this like this is how I want it. So you can go there. All right, and I'm going to find my corner.
That's your fault. It wasn't my fault.
That was totally my fault. I accept full responsibility. Now I can kind of slide this around, but I want to line it up to that perfect 90-degree angle. And once I feel like I've got my corner, I'm going to start laying this. Now, first I'm going to use a brayer. I'm going to roll my paper out. See how it helps to have that second set of hands? And then I see my angle's a little bit off, so I'm just going to slide my paper this way and down a little bit. That's that wallpaper paste. That's why that's really nice to play with.
You okay for let go?
Yep. Thank you. You guys, everyone, a round of applause for our assistant, Sean. It's okay.
It's like a magic show.
I can pull this back up. So see if I kind of make a mistake, how I just was able to pull that back up. That's the wallpaper paste.
Oh, dang it, Sheila.
What?
Old lady hands.
Old lady hands? Well, I guess.
No, not old lady.
I
just
guess
lady hands.
You had lady hands, and as you get older, they're going to be old lady hands now. All right, I try to keep the wallpaper paste from getting on the face of my paper. It is fragile, you guys. It is a gift wrap. It's not very wipeable until you put a clear coat over the top of this. Try to avoid having to wipe this paper. All right, I need to add a little bit of clear coat just on, or I'm sorry, not clear coat. I need to add a little bit of my wallpaper paste just
Never get in trouble with Sheila. Because she totally threw down somebody. She said, I was just repeating it. Somebody else said it before me. Like, took her no time at all.
Yeah, under the bus. Okay, this is the blue tool. This is from Grace on Design. I'll throw a link for this after I get off. it has a felt edge on it, so I can rub over the paper without tearing that paper. I'm going to go fragile on it because the paper's wet, you guys, and once you get paper wet, it's super fragile. It will have a tendency to tear.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Emily says I have piano fingers.
Yeah, that's it. He did used to play the piano, so...
Optical illusions.
Alright, I'm going to go around the edges of my paper here, and then I'm going to show you how I will get the excess paper off.
And that's wrapping paper?
This is wrapping paper.
Who buys wrapping paper in sheets like that? Who's
this
that
is
champ?
Expensive wrapping paper. I don't like anybody enough to give them gifts in this wrapping paper. It's, I guess
your gift is the wrapping paper.
I guess it's not that expensive, but it would, yeah, it would be like if you really wanted to make a statement with your wrapping paper. I don't know. Maybe this is how the other half lives. Maybe they buy fancy wrapping paper like this.
Is that what it is?
Maybe that's why we're totally unfamiliar.
Maybe there's
with it.
something in that empty box.
Okay, I'm going to take one of my Surf Prep rad pads. I don't know if this one has enough grit in it because it's kind of used. And I'm going to wrap it around a sanding block. And I'm going to come to the edge of my door and I'm going to pull downward.
Can I swing the camera around to show what you're...
Let me try this one with a little heavier grit on it.
Oh, almost took that camera for a ride.
And then I'll show you guys something else once I get this off. So it's scoring the paper. I'm pulling down on it at the same time, and it's going to have a breakthrough, and then it's just going to take that edge right off. And then I'm going to come fix this spot right here. See how it just pulls that away? When I sand this edge like this, it does kind of expose the inside of the paper, which is like, it's white paper with a print on it. So I will just come back and I'll just paint this edge with my body color, and that's going to hide. That's going to hide those white spots. It's just right along the edge, so I'll show you in a second. I'll just take my brush vertically and just hit the edge, and it's just going to hit the edge of that paper. This heavier grit is working better. And then I'm going to make sure that I save all this excess paper because I'm going to have places where I need just small bits to patch in.
And then once you seal this, it's on. It's permanent.
Yes, it's on. It's going to be underneath a clear coat, just like a painted coat would be. Until it's sealed, it is fragile, you guys. So be careful until you get your paper sealed. I would seal it as soon as you can. Don't leave it exposed for any longer than you need to. Because it is fragile. It is paper. If you get paint or anything on this while it's unsealed, it's not wipeable. Okay, so this is my extra piece. I'm going to keep this. It does have some wallpaper paste on the back, so I'm going to set it to the side and I'll wipe that in a second. All right, and then I want to fix, got some dust on it, so I'm just going to wipe that away, but I want to fix this corner right here. So I'm just going to lift this.
Could you throw some polyacrylic on there?
Yes, polyacrylic, any of your water-based clear coats that you would use on your paint. I'm going to throw a little bit of my wallpaper paste underneath this corner right here. And I'm going to smooth out this edge. And it pushes out any excess wallpaper paste to the edge of my paper. It kind of squeezes it out. I'll turn this so you guys can see that. Get a rag. I try to keep it off my blue tool while I'm using it because I don't want to have wallpaper paste on the front. See, it squeezes that out. I just put it back in my container. I have a little bit of a bubble right here. I'm going to push that out nice and slow. Just go nice and slow. This paper is fragile. You can tear it. So everything I do, I'm just going to check all my edges before that wallpaper paste dries. Got another little bubble right here.
What's dry time on that paste?
It's got a good dry time on it. I don't know, 30 minutes maybe? I don't know. I'd have to read the package to see exactly what they say, but it's still wet in there. You know, even before it's completely dry, though, it will start to set up and your paper will tear if you try to pull it up. But it's enough that I can still be smoothing my paper out.
What's the name of that blue thing in your hand?
The blue tool.
Heather, sorry, it was a loaded question. She said it's a smooth
Heather.
operator.
Did I say that? Did I say that with disappointment in my voice? Like, it's the blue tool. That's it. That's all I got for you. It's blue and it's a tool. So it's called the blue tool. All right. I got a little bit of my wallpaper paste on the front of my paper. This is a water-based paste. So,
does the paper shrink?
It does a little bit, but not a lot. So if you have wrinkles in it, don't count on that they're going to shrink back out when it dries.
What about edges? Do they pull back?
No, not enough for it to pull the edges. Like over here, I've already done. It's so minimal. Now, if you're cutting it really close, but it's so minimal. So I just put a little bit of water onto a soft rag, and I'm just going to lightly take off any of that wallpaper paste that I got onto the front of my piece. And then I'm going to wipe the excess off around the edges just so it doesn't dry like that. Okay, and what I was talking about that I would come back and paint the edges, once this is dry, because I do have just this edge where I cut the paper, I'll just take my brush and go like this and turn that whole edge blue, and it's going to catch the edge of the paper. I'm not happy with this.
Honestly, as many names as this thing has, Heather says she's changing it. Just call it that thing, right? Like, yeah. I mean, there's so many
the decoupage thing. The decoupage thing.
Thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. It's not Dr. Seuss.
All right. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back, and I also need to sand away. I don't want to do it right now because I'm scared that I'll tear the paper while it's wet, but I need to sand away these little spots where the hinges go. It's just got a little tiny, I might even just use a razor blade and just fold that little piece over because that's where my hinge sits. I've just got 2 of them right on that side. I'll paint the edge of this door. If I do have, like I see a spot right here, I have my wallpaper paste. Once I put, it just changes the sheen because it dries clear, but it just changes the sheen. Do not rub this paper with a whole bunch of water, guys. It will take the print off. But this paper is nice because it doesn't, the inks don't run when you introduce moisture. So I just introduce moisture with the wallpaper paste. These inks do not run. It won't run when I seal it. It's a good paper for doing decoupage with. Okay. And then when I put this back on my front, I will of course attach it back on the hinges. I'm going to try to find the placement of this and see if we can set it in there. Yeah, not all the way, but that's where I'll be. It's also going to go across this drawer, across these doors. I'll repeat that process over and over again. Spaces like this right here, I'm not going to try to decoupage this curve. I'm not going to try to decoupage this molding here. They're just going to be painted. I know, it's disappointing.
Oh my gosh.
But once I'm done, this pattern will go all around the top, the sides, and then across all the front, except for this gold. I'll have some big, bold gold hardware on here. It's going to look really cool. All right, 1 down.
Well, that's an interesting question.
500 more to go.
I'm not, but are you in Afghanistan?
Not that I'm aware of. Maybe like YouTube, I guess, is worldwide. So does that count? Does that count as world travel? All right, so I've got enough pieces that I can go across the whole front of this. On the inside, I'm on the fence about putting a pattern inside my doors, and I like this one because it's really retro, and this feels like kind of a mid-century piece. And then this one's a little more Art Deco. And I'm talking about the insides of the doors where I put that 1 hour enamel, putting a stencil over the top of it in gold. You guys like one of those for the inside? I'm showing it against this background just so you can see it on the dark background, but it would be against the inside.
Emily, that's how she rolls. Fancy.
I'm fancy. We fancy around here. Here, I'll show you. It would be around the insides of these doors to take and put a stencil like that. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm Art Deco or am I like mid-century modern. You guys feeling either one of those? I'm going to read back and I'll see what you guys voted for. So,
shit, the fan-looking one.
Yeah, you like the fan? I know what you're talking about. I should have told you the name. These are both from Redesign with Prima. Here's the name of this one. Art Deco.
Huh?
Yeah. That's the fan looking one.
So you back.
and the
See, you done screwed up all the results. You people are...
The other
no.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one that I called Mid-Century is called Mid-Century. Mid-Century Vibes. These are both from Redesign with Prima.
Oh my gosh.
I know. All right, let's talk. I'm going to try to go quick because I've been on for a long time, but I wanted to tell you guys about this drawer here. This will all be on video too, by the way. So, anywhere I have gold on this, right now it is just spray paint. So this was a flat drawer, just like this one here. I bought a molding, a curved molding from
like a
Home
wood
Depot.
molding. Yeah. Like an 8-foot long.
And Sean cut it down to these lengths. And they're all nailed to the front of my drawer. And then I just filled it. And this is a molding on the front that made this curved. The reason I did this is because the inspiration piece had a curved molding on one of the drawers. And I'm copying it.
Now, for winner points here, I did not only nail it, I used some glue.
Oh,
Sheila,
what is that glue called?
What is that glue called?
Yeah, for the win. Okay, I'm going to move this door out of the way because the next thing I'm going to do, I do not want to get on this door, even though I have to coat it again. I put gold spray paint on this, but my final finish on this is not intended to be gold spray paint. This is just going to be underneath so that it hides any spacing that my gold leaf peeks through on.
You okay?
Let me find my gold leaf. So I am actually going to put gold leaf over the top of my gold. And that's the reason I'm going to do that is, number one, because there is no shine like real gold leafing. It's not real gold, but
it is.
Sheet gold leafing. I'm pretty sure this is about as fake as it comes. It's synthetic gold leafing. But it shines like nothing else. So even this spray paint, this is going to be more gold than my gold.
You shine on.
Okay, so I get this on Amazon. I have these in my Amazon shop. That's always pinned to the top of my Facebook page if you guys want to find my Amazon shop. It's also in my bio on Instagram. I like this one because it comes with this little case. And if you work with gold leafing, you know how fragile it is. What I'm going to use to apply this, and I don't want to do the whole thing.
Do you have videos on leafing?
I do. On my YouTube channel, there's a search function on YouTube. It's so easy. Whatever you want to search for, go to my YouTube channel. You can search gold leaf, glaze, blending,
stripper.
Yeah. Do I have stripping? I might have some. I'm sure I do. I also have playlists. So if you just want to watch 100 videos about blending, I have a whole playlist that it's all sorted and categorized on there. That's the best place to find all my old videos and sorted and categorized. The Facebook search function will send you into a rabbit hole, but YouTube does a pretty decent job at it. Okay, so I'm going to use, what I like to use for gold leafing brush is...
Are you doing it now?
One. Yeah, I'm just going to do this one little section though.
Okay.
Makeup brushes are super soft. So actual gold leafing brushes are really, really soft and they're really, really expensive. This is like...
Is that for rouge?
Yeah, for my rouge. Does that go with your old lady?
Wait, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm blocking this off
because
I
fingers.
I'm going to do this first section right here. I'm not going to use gold leaf sizing.
You're also not going to use anything to protect anything else.
Nope, I sure am not, because that's how I roll. Let's see, do I have... Okay, gold leaf sizing is adhesive. It comes in small containers like this. You paint it on, you let it get tacky, and once it's tacky, you can come back and lay your leafing on. You want it to be tacky. Super tacky, right?
Sheila, the rouge comment. It's a throwback to 1962.
Sean and I have a generation gap. I'm gonna just use spray adhesive on this one because spray adhesive is tacky right away. So it's nice and sticky. It's good for laying gold leaf as long as you don't need precision because it will spray everywhere and you don't have any control over it.
I hate to tell you, but when you say generation gap and then somebody says 1962, that's not a generation gap. That is a Dateline episode.
Yeah. Sean went shopping at the elementary school for girlfriends. Okay, so this is my 3M Super 77 spray adhesive. I'm just going to spray it on. I blocked it off because I don't want to do over there. I'm just going to do the small section right here. Let's make it even smaller because I want to.
Please.
This will fit one sheet of leafing. You act like you don't want to be here. All right. It's tacky right away.
Yeah, it is.
That means it's sticky. So then I'm going to take a sheet of my leafing, and you want to use this backing paper that they give you to pick up your leafing if you can. Don't use your fingers. The oils in your fingers will mark your leafing.
It's okay. I have piano fingers. They're small.
And it's going to start to stick to your hands. So use these sheets that they give you if you can. And I'm going to gently, ever so gently, place my leafing down in roughly the right place.
Sheila, she's been trying that for a long time. Sheila told me not to breathe.
Yeah, I'm the mouth breather of the bunch. All right, and then I use the sheet to kind of push it into the areas. And I'm going to use my
rouge brush.
My rouge to lightly press down my leafing and brush. It's going to brush away anywhere that I did not have that adhesive on. So I just press it into all the crevasses.
Oh, easy there, big girls.
Brush away the excess. And I'll show you. I'll pull this shirt off and show you the side by side. Not this shirt.
Whoa, what?
This is a family
We have
show.
done past family hour,
family
apparently.
All right.
It's really awkward.
So can you see the difference? Why I would want to use gold leafing on that? This look right here.
Just move it. Move it. Move it.
Can you see that?
What's the deal with the other hand?
It's moving
I'm
too.
talking about the drawer. I didn't say move your other hand too. Oh, good. Sheila, excellent points. John Wayne Gacy used a rouge brush too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It's good for
I think he also shopped at a particular area.
It's good for the clown look. All right, I'm going to put away my metal leafing. It's starting to static cling to this box, which I do not want to happen. I'm going to lose this sheet right here. Yay, I saved it. Yay. All right, back in its box it goes, but I'm going to go all the way across. Now I put that gold underneath because I have, like, there's a couple spots where it just cracks because I'm asking it to bend over the surface. And all that shows through is the gold underneath. So it's kind of it's really, really pretty. So I'm going to go all the way across this. I'm also going to do this front lip here will be entirely in gold leaf.
It's okay, Emily. That'll just be our secret.
More about the rouge.
Piano fingers.
All right.
So bad that she posted piano keys and a jaundiced finger. It's all yellow.
Gangrenous. Gotta get that.
That's green.
You gotta get that bad boy.
You gotta get your diseases correct.
I don't think green is a choice on your Facebook emojis.
I'm gonna try.
All right, you guys. I've been on for so long, but I had so much to share on this piece. So I'm gonna finish this up. There will be a full tutorial on it on my YouTube channel, so you guys will see from start to finish all the steps that I went through. It's gonna be really pretty. It's kind of fun to copy myself. See if I can do it better, if I can do it all again.
I like plagiarizing myself. It's fun.
I do have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow. It's a really cool piece. It's another cedar chest redo. You guys really liked the last cedar chest that I did. So this time I did one. It's rustic. It's industrial looking. So think of taking a cedar chest to kind of rustic and industrial. And it's really cool. So that's going to be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. So go find Brush by Brandy on YouTube and subscribe, and a new tutorial comes out every week. Thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you guys for waiting while I went on a vacation. I should be back every Thursday from now on at 9 p.m. Eastern.
You need to find a new camera guy.
I'll let you go. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much.